If I had £1 for every time Reform UK said they were different, I could probably buy back one of Canterbury's Victorian lampposts. They say that they're the rebellion, they're the change, the voice of the forgotten, but lately it's looking less like a movement and more like a lost property office for the House of Commons. So today I'm asking, is this really reform or just rebranding? How do you build a new political party out of the exact same people who got us here?
There's almost no ideological difference between the Conservative Party and Reform. It's very hard to point to anything other than minor policy differentials between Kemi Badenoch and Nigel Farage. And one or two things that Nigel did disagree on, he's now changed his mind about. So he's no longer in favour of proportional representation and so forth.
And now I really want to be clear, I'm not here to shill the Tories or bash reform. I'm here to ask, if this is the future, why does it look so familiar? And I want to know whether any party is brave enough to actually be new, innovative, and truly for Britain, not only as a border, but a culture, a history, and a home. Just because someone is pro-Britain might not make them pro your version of it. Now, say what you will about reform, but they have moved the Overton window. People are saying things they wouldn't have 5 years ago, and that really matters. But shifting the vibe isn't the same as having a vision. So I want to talk about the Britain that people flock to see in our art, architecture, and heritage. Because I'm starting today's video with the lampposts of Canterbury, a story that I don't think's being spoken enough about. Because when a reform-controlled council in Kent starts ripping out cast iron, locally forged 19th century city-crested lampposts from Canterbury, a literal UNESCO World Heritage City, all I can say is, are you okay? Now, if you've seen my channel before, you'll know I adore architecture, particularly local architecture. The phone boxes, the post boxes, the slightly wonky carvings of dragons and monarchs that pop up on our old high streets like little historical Easter eggs. The soul of a place isn't policy. So when I saw the headline in the Architect's Journal, plans to replace Canterbury's Victorian street lamp sparks heritage row, I got really annoyed. These lampposts are handmade, bespoke, with the city crest still intact. I mean, they survived 2 world wars, who knows how many recessions, and the great Starbucks and Costa Coffee invasion of the early 2000s.
Ha ha, you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
But apparently not Reform's idea of budgeting, because the fix is £4,000 per lamp. So instead, they're just being replaced with steel poles. You know, the kind that scream reconstruction after a nuclear blast more than Dickensian twilight charm. I mean, who wakes up in the morning and thinks, you know what will really rejuvenate the city of Chaucer and cathedrals? Steel poles. In grey.
Are we the baddies?
Now, the council have claimed that the original lampposts are no longer considered safe, and it would be cheaper to install modern replicas. But the president of the Canterbury Society described these so-called replicas as just generic steel poles, which, okay, safety first, but don't tell me that there was no alternative to grey sticks that looked like they were stolen from a motorway lay-by.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run.
No, don't like that.
I thought Reform were meant to be the party that ripped up the rulebook, that thought differently, that backed Britain.
I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you!
If the council was serious about heritage and community, then why not see this as a chance to support actual local ironmongers? Start a dialogue, ask what's possible, use the talent that we have. We talk about bringing back British industry, well hello, this was the opportunity right here. And I would be willing to bet that these replacement poles won't even be made in Britain. So why wasn't this option taken? But I'm sorry, if your party is claiming to be the party about patriotism and cultural pride and protection of British values, then sites of historical interest and architecture should surely be in that mix. How is replacing hand-cast street furniture from the 1800s with generic metal poles anything other than cultural vandalism? Architecture roots you to your past. They were designed so that every generation knew that they were considered, because aesthetics are infrastructure and beauty is a form of belonging. And if you can't be trusted to protect a lamppost that has historical significance, then why should I trust you to protect a culture? So let me ask this plainly. What is the point in saving a country if none of the civilization or context that came before us is allowed to survive? If the lampposts go, if the crests go, if the little details that give the city its character all disappear, what are you actually saving? A territory? A tax base? Or just a vibe with a flag on it? And that's really the point that I'm trying to make with this video, because this video isn't obviously about lampposts. It's about instinct. It's about what a party chooses to protect when there's no applause, no outrage cycle, and no polling data telling them what to say. And this is where my confusion with reform kind of really begins, because let's talk a bit about Nadim Zahawi. I mean, what was it? Tax scandal, vaccine passports, amnesty for illegal migrants, and now reform wants him on the rebrand tour? Please. It's not reform, it's reuse. But also, what about Robert Jenrick? I mean, he openly bragged about migrant hotel contracts, and now he's trying to be Mr. Fortress Britain. You can't sell the disease and pose as the cure. A true reform party can't just recycle MPs who have lost their seat, their nerve, their shot at the leadership, or a potential place in the House of Lords. Because when you keep rolling out ex-Tories, ex-Chancellors, ex-Labour councillors, ex-Green councillors, ex-Lib Dem councillors, I mean, all former establishment players in new jerseys, it starts feeling less like a movement and more like a cover band. It's giving political tribute act, playing the same hits, just in a different suit. And if you're trying to build a party on the ashes of "we're not like them," maybe don't continuously sweep in the other candidates. This isn't drain the swamp, this is drain the swamp straight on into your own party. This way, it's not reform, it's just recycle. If you're inviting candidates who have actively been involved in industries which have destabilized communities up and down this country, how can you sell yourself as the fix? And when your candidates are saying one thing and your councillors are doing another, like ripping out civic beauty while claiming to love Britain, it doesn't feel like Britain's being respected or even protected.
This is fine.
And at some point, you do have to choose. Are you a movement or just a party trying on other people's slogans like mannequins in a window and seeing how much publicity that gives you? If the future of British politics is just the political equivalent of rearranging the Westminster sock drawer, then I'm not really sure that counts as change. But, to be fair, maybe this lack of new talent isn't entirely reform's fault. I mean, we've only ever had one major right-wing party in this country. So if you're trying to build a new right-wing party in Britain, you're fishing from the only pool we've got, the Conservative Party. But that creates this kind of weird problem, because if everyone joining your party already has had a blue rosette, are you really a new movement or just the Conservative Party's after party? I will say that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do think that people can change, and experience can be a game changer, but we need to be honest about it. It has to nurture new voices too, the people who have never had a shot, who have never been burnt by the system yet. And if reform are doing that, then show me those individuals instead of gloating about how many people have defected. Because if you want to fix British politics, you need more than a reshuffle. You need a vision for renewal. Reform UK wants to be anti-establishment without alienating anyone, wants to be radical but only in the ways that poll well, wants to be patriotic but doesn't seem to know what it's defending. And as an aside, why is it only right-wing parties that do this little tiptoeing dance of don't alienate the middle? The Greens don't do that. Your party definitely doesn't. Even the Lib Dems are more open about who they want and who they don't want. But Reform? They're trying to be for every kind of person without saying exactly who they're for. Reform UK didn't market themselves as a sleek elite party with a Westminster pedigree. It marketed itself as a grassroots movement. And let's be honest, you can't be grassroots and establishment at the same time. I'm not asking Reform to be perfect. I'm not asking for a political sainthood. I'm asking for a sense of what they actually believe is worth keeping. not just what they're angry about. And maybe that's why I keep coming back to these lampposts in Canterbury. Not because they're the most important issue this country's facing, I know, but because they tell you something. They tell you what gets protected when there's no cameras, no outrage cycle, and no applause. If a party can look at something beautiful, historic, and distinctively British and decide that that's expendable, then I'm not sure I trust your idea of saving Britain.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Because loving a country isn't just about spreadsheets, it's about noticing what's already there and deciding it's worth keeping. So here's my question. Is Reform UK really trying to build something new? When you have a party that won't protect Britain's physical history, but will defend every possible form of optics, you kind of have to ask, is this a movement, or has it just become marketing? But let me know what you think. Maybe I'm being way too harsh, way too critical, and even a bit too cynical about Reform UK. Let me know what you think, please. I mean, are you a Reform supporter? And as always, do think about giving this a like and a subscribe. It really helps out. Thanks so much.